everybody, I'm the Picklesworth, and this is a very, very special show. That's right, if you were looking at the thumbnail or maybe the title of this video, you know that this is a special show. Not a series, not something like that, just a very special one-off show. This is my 3,000 subscriber special. That's right. Maybe, I don't know, about a month or so ago, the channel finally got to 3,000 subscribers. I let it go just a little bit, one, for time, and two, I just wanted to make sure that we stayed above 3,000 subscribers before I put out this episode or this little, just one-off video. Yeah. But yeah, this is it. This is it. Not this. But the video. So I figured real quick what we would do is I'm gonna do two things. It's gonna be a blast from the past for me and new information for you. One, I wanted to show off the spawn town that I built quite a few years back. This is when I was a moderator on a Minecraft server called United Minecrafters. Myself and the owner of the server built this city that you're about to see. As like the spawn central. Like when you first join the server, this spot right here is where you spawned in. If for some reason you needed to come back to spawn town, this is the spot that you would spawn into, the very center of the map. And while we're looking around and kind of exploring, I thought I would tell you a story. It's story time with Piggy. I'm going to explain to you how in the world I got the name the Picklesworth. So this room right in here is the centralized area with these 4 fountains, and we have south, west, north, and east, and then little signs telling us northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. Now, these were important because at one time, I don't think they're here in this build. See, this is the build that we did, and then there was a backup save, and then the owner, Mr. Majestic, went in, and at these points right here, he built these little portals. You would step into water, and it would send you to different worlds. You could go to a world where you could do mining, and we would reset that every once in a while. Uh-oh, we got some bad weather out there. Let's do weather clear, time set day. There we go, and that should be good to go. Basically, we made it where from this spawn point, you could go to different points in the actual overworld and play, and then we had a different world where you could gather resources, so you could destroy that world and it wouldn't mess with the build world. But I always like these little fountains because they make me think of like frogs. Like you've got the eye here and the eye here and a little mouth and the front feet. That's what it always made me think of. But the way this build came about was the server owner, Mr. Majestic, he basically did the basic shapes. I called this like the cake, because once we get outside, you'll see it looks like a tiered cake, like what you would see at a wedding. He did the circles and like where you see the lapis blocks and stuff. And I came in and put in the arches and the fountains and a lot of the decorative stuff that we'll see outside. It was a lot of fun to build. And yes, I did it all in creative, because there's no way I'm going to try and gather this much quartz. So we're just going to start running around. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run around the outer perimeter of this room and just kind of show it off. And basically the idea was that we had these towers, and in the towers there were buttons. You could go in and push the button and it would use a command block to send you to different builds in the overworld, so that way you didn't have to travel to them. It was like warp points. And each of the 4 sectors, what I did was I made these little walkthrough areas with fountains, and I made each area look like a miniature biome from the game. So it was kind of like you could reference where you were in the city based off of the biome and the color of the flowers on the road. So I'll start walking through that, and I'm going to tell you a story. So let's just pick a random direction we happen to be facing. We'll go this way. So quite a few years ago, there was a TV show called The Real World, and some of you will probably have heard of it, some of you probably haven't, but basically what they would do is they would cast a bunch of people to come in and all live together, and then they would film them. It's kind of like a reality show when reality shows were first starting out. And I can't remember which season it was, but there was a girl on that season, and her nickname was Piggy. Now, that's not directly how I got my name, but that's where the word first kind of like started and popped into my brain. Now, oh, there's a pig. Now, on a completely unrelated note, around the same time or so, my wife I don't remember exactly how she happened upon it, but she happened to go by the animal shelter one day, and they had a little kitten there whose mom had died, and somebody had placed this kitten on somebody's doorstep. And it was very, very young. It still needed its mother. It was so young, and they were not certain if the cat was even going to live. It was kind of bad off. Pretty bad situation. So she went ahead and decided to bring it home. We've pretty much been cat people. I've been a cat person pretty much my whole life, and we had lots of cats. So she brought it home, and we had this little kitten, and we were really struggling to figure out how in the world were we going to feed this cat? How are we going to make this kitten be able to stay alive? And we did some research, and we figured out if you get like a little bitty bottle. Oh, I'm really curious to see what's back here. I don't remember this. Oh, it's just a little recess. Okay. We got this little bitty kitten bottle, and we would fill it up with, I don't remember if it was milk or formula, but basically some kind of a milk formula substance. And we would try to bottle feed the kitten, but we couldn't get the kitten to sit still. It would squirm around. It would try to do what it naturally wants to do, which is use its paws. Like if you ever seen a cat, when you're petting on it, it kind of kneads its paws, like it. Some people call like it looks like it's making biscuits or it's flexing its paws. What they do is when they're kittens, they will do that to their mother's stomach, and it stimulates the mother's body to create milk. And so that's why, cats do that. It's kind of like a reflex to let you know that they feel happy and safe. It's a callback to when they were kittens pretty much. So the kitten kept wanting to do that. We couldn't get it to sit still long enough to feed it the milk. So what we did was we swaddled it, which is we put it in like a small towel and wrapped the towel around the kitten, made sure its legs and everything was comfortable. And basically the only thing sticking out of the towel was its head. Everything else it wasn't tight, but it was very snug to keep the kitten from being able to move around and squirm. And so because of that, we were able to put the little bottle near its mouth and then just kind of lightly squeeze on it, and so the milk would come out. And the reason why we had to do that is because at this point the kitten was starting to get almost so weak that it really didn't even want to drink. So by squeezing on the bottle, we could get milk to its mouth. And that wasn't supposed to be there. That was supposed to be sealed up. Basically, it realized it was being given food. And so after a couple of days of doing that, it got enough of its strength back that it could actually suck on the bottle. So once it started sucking on the bottle, it started doing this very interesting thing. It would suck on the bottle and it would make this little snorting noise. It would wah, 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 just like that whenever it drank. And we were trying to figure out a name for this cat, and I'm like, he's snorting like a little pig. Maybe we should call him Piggy. And it was that name that popped in my head from that TV show. We thought it was appropriate. We're like, a cat named Piggy, that would be funny. So we went ahead and named the cat Piggy. Now, fast forward, I got a Wii and was playing a game called Medal of Honor on the Wii. Found out that there was a community of people and started playing with them. And I needed a character name. So I had been watching a movie called Austin Powers. If you're a kid, don't go watch it. It's a bad movie. You don't need to watch that movie. But in that movie, the Dr. Evil guy has a cat named Mr. Picklesworth. That's his cat's name. And our cat was named Piggy. So I kind of put the two together and came up with Picklesworth. I was like, I could use that for a screen name. So then later we got an Xbox, and I got made a guest account at a friend's house. This is right before I got the Xbox. He had an Xbox. Okay, we've made a circle. So now we'll go outside the city and start walking around. And out here, this is different plots that we're going to see where people would build their spawn houses and stuff. We'll just kind of walk around and look at them. And when we get over to my spawn house, me and my wife used to play on here. So when I get over to our spawn house, I'll show you. And I did all this maybe 6 months to a year approximately before I started the channel, somewhere around there. I'll tell you what, we'll go up here and we'll walk the perimeter and look down. Up at these domes, there was supposed to be these portals. And you could step through these portals. I don't remember if they were supposed to take you out to the Nether or if they were supposed to take you to different spots in the spawn world, but out beyond that is just open sea, and then down there is like a spleef arena that the owner of the server built for us. So I'll just look here. This is the spawn city itself. It's just crazy. I love how this turned out. And all this had to be built by hand because I didn't know how to do like cut and paste commands and stuff with world editor or something like that. I don't remember. So all of this had to be like screenshotted and then gone over and built mirror imaged and stuff. So everything you see here, even though I was in creative mode, I was still placing it all by hand. It probably took a month or two to do all this. Oh, man. Oh, son, and you go. I've got control of you now, so you get dealt with. I tell you what, I'm going to hover just a little bit so we can kind of move around. But yeah, I had made a guest account called Picklesworth and was playing some Call of Duty with them and whatnot. And then later on, my wife, she got me an Xbox 360, and I wanted to have the account name Picklesworth. But I couldn't remember my password. I didn't know how to recover it. So I'm like, all right. And around this time, it was kind of like a fad that everybody was saying the in front of stuff. It's kind of like, I think at the time people were like the Donald for Donald Trump and stuff like this. This is way before he became president. Back when he was just, a simple guy doing reality TV shows. I was like, okay, fine. The Pigglesworth. How about like that? So I went ahead and did that. And I didn't think much of it. I didn't think it was much of a name. I just, kind of like an homage to the cat that we had. I like the name. And just kind of like a mishmash together of the two names, the cat from that movie. And then over the course of time, people were like, wow, I really like that name. That's a cool name. And then I realized it was cool because the name didn't have any numbers or symbols in it. I did manage to make up a username before people, sometimes you'll see like Joe Bob 5372 because there's like 1,000 other Joe Bobs. And so you can't have like just Joe Bob. It has to have a number in it. So I was always kind of happy that I was able to get a name that didn't have like all the numbers and stuff in it. But that's it. That's pretty much it. Oh, hey, horse, what are you doing up here on the wall? But that's pretty much it, how I got the username, the Pigglesworth. And it's just kind of stuck. I liked it enough, and a lot of other people liked it enough. I just went in and kept the name. Now you're going to notice some of this is bare and open because we were developing it and doing different stuff. Originally, what I was going to do is clear out this map, take out all the builds, and leave it as a download for people so that they could download like a spawn. Me and the guy that originally made this server, we both agreed that people could have access to this. And these little gray spots, these were each plots. You could go over to like a real estate office and purchase the plots. There was like a plugin we used. Pardon me. Where basically you could trade items that you found in the overworld for currency, and then you could use that currency to buy other items, or you could use it to buy plots in town. So that was, I can't remember what zone or sector that was going to be. I think it was going to be like stores and shops. And then right over here, this is all the different houses. And since I ran out of story, I'm just going to go ahead and go over and show you my house. So you can see there's like this stuff floating up in the air because I was trying to work out how I wanted a structure to look like before I actually built it inside the house, and just never ended up finishing it before I left the server. But this was going to be a kitchen. This is like a kitchen idea that I was messing with. We got like our little, it's like cupboards and stuff. And uh-oh, somebody's trying to call me. Hang on a second. Okay. I got another series I'm working on, and I was getting called on Discord for that. But yeah, like a little nook, for like books and stuff, and you could do some of your office work. A refrigerator of sorts, and just some counter space, stove, and a little vent hood. I think I meant for this to be like a coffee maker or something like that, and then sink right here. And then we'll go down here and look at this house real quick. In this house, it's like I really didn't have a vision at first how I wanted to build it, so I just kind of came up with stuff. but it ended up being like it was going to be this entrance foyer kind of thing with like a nice atrium and a fountain. And then I was going to build something in here I never got around to building. But you can see we had enchanting over there for Miss Piggy because she wanted to enchant her tools. And then I had this, like, I don't know why, but I decided, hey, let's put like a little lake or something right here in front of the house. Oh, I really liked this. This was cool. This was going to be like, I think the kitchen was supposed to go right here, or the dining room, and you could step out here on like just a little patio with some furniture, some plants, and you could sit here and just look at the water. Really liked how that turned out. And I was still really, I mean, even to this day, I struggle with interiors and how to make them work. And so at this time that I had built this, I was just really proud of the few interiors I was able to do. I was going to make this the living room. I was making it where I had green walls in the house. We were going to have like a living room in here with TV and stuff, and it was going to come around to here. I think, yeah, this is going to be where the kitchen was, and then it was going to go to a dining room right there. And then up in here, I think I finished up in, this was, broke that. That was going to be a bedroom. And then this was our bedroom. Had the beds set up with like a little canopy bed. Had ender chest, his and hers ender chest. Even though I know we both could access the same ender chest, but still just thought that would be cool. And then, a little plant in the wall. This was our closet, our master closet. And we just had it where, somebody was cooking iron in here. Now, there was a plugin for this server where if you put the word private and then your name, only the names that appeared on the side could access the chests. Anybody else, they would be locked out. So it was cool. It was like a way to protect your stuff and keep people from griefing you. And then this was the bathroom. Had like a little toilet over here and a skeleton head. So it looks like you got a roll of toilet paper. And then a pool or sauna or a bath, even though pigs don't really bathe. And some nice little plants up there. And this was way back in Minecraft 1.8. So anything that they've added to the game since 1.8, that's why you don't see those blocks and stuff here, because they were not available. Never did finish the roof because I think I was going to put I was going to put some gardens up here at the top and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it. That's the 3,000. So you are not going to, there's going to be no rain here today. Thank you very much. But yeah, I did this probably about 6 months, a year before I started the channel. And I just thought that would be something fun we could fly around and look at. Would be an old server town. I've actually held on to this map for about 2-3 years in anticipation. Like, it was really weird. The channel had only been around for a little while. Mumbo Jumbo did like a shout out video for the channel. And I think we peaked at like 2,700 subscribers just from his shout out. And so I was like, I need to get ready for a 3,000 subscriber special. And then we spent like a year or two where we were losing as many subs as we gained. So we just like hovered at 2,600 subs for like 2 years. And then finally, I think about the past year and a half, we finally like slowly started moving into the positive. So I was getting real excited. I'm like, oh, cool. That idea I had years ago. If I can find that map again, we can do a 3,000 sub special. But yeah, thank you all so much for those of y'all who've been longtime loyal viewers of the channel, and even those of y'all who may be newer viewers to the channel. You know, sometimes you don't even know a channel exists. You stumble upon it and you're like, where's this been all these years? I don't know if any of y'all had that experience with the channel. I'm just saying, I know that happens. But yeah, new and old subscribers alike, thank you all so much for the interest in our channel and in the shows that we put out. I know Miss Piggy doesn't put out as many shows as I do. I'm like the videoholic. I'm the one making all the videos, and hopefully her and I are going to be doing some adventure maps here pretty soon, so that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, I've still got tons of plans for the channel. Different things I want to do, and God willing and time willing, I will try my best to get all those things accomplished so y'all can see. So thank you all so much for the just all the time that it's been so far, all the fun that I've had with the different viewers and all their different comments and interaction with the channel. Thank you all so much, and I look forward to hopefully many, many more episodes and much more time with all of you. So with that, I'm going to give you, bid you an adieu, a farewell. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.